Okay, so you've got a website and you want it to rank higher in Google search results or any search engine results for that matter. This could be a large company website, small website, personal website, whatever the case may be. And you want people to be able to discover you, perhaps to bring in new business, perhaps to flex on your friends, whatever the case may be. I'm a designer with over 15 years of experience, and in this industry of digital design, I've worn many, many hats. Not to go on too much of a tangent, but one of the very first jobs I ever had, I got hired to be a designer, and my boss said, hey, we've got a website and we want it to rank #1 on Google for this keyword. Now, of course, I had no idea what I was doing, and I was thrown into the deep end and had to figure out the world of SEO. And after years of trial and error, I've put this little method together to help people that are in a similar position to what I was in back then, with at least getting on the map. This is not going to guarantee you #1 ranked position for whatever keyword on Google. This is just to get you going, to get you started and set you up for SEO success. And I guess that's who this video is for. The person who doesn't quite know what they're doing, or perhaps they do know a little bit about SEO, but they haven't really had any practical success. And these are practical steps that I follow today for clients, and they've translated into actual new business for these clients. These are, again, I'll say this again, practical, actionable steps that you can use to rank higher on your favorite search engine. But let's be honest, we all just use Google. And so before we begin, what I will say is that this guide works best for WordPress websites. Reason being that you have access to plugins on WordPress that allow you to, that sort of act as a checklist to go through and just finesse the content of your page or pages that make up your website. And it just makes it a lot more manageable. You know, using this alongside tools from our AI overlords, ChatGPT, things like this, will go a long way to streamline this process and just make it a lot more digestible and straightforward. It's not impossible if you're not on WordPress. You might just have extra steps. If people are helped by this content, maybe I'll look into doing a video that is non-WordPress related, but we'll see. And with that all out of the way, let's begin. Step 1, get your site up onto Google Search Console. Simply go to search.google.com and hit the Start Now button to basically get your site verified and working within the Google Search Console dashboard. Once you have a site that is actually tracking data and working functionally correct on Google Search Console, you'll probably see something like this. This talks to other plugins quite nicely and is basically a lot more straightforward compared to tools like Google Analytics, which I find you need a PhD in that software to begin to utilize it and make any sense of it. So for our purposes, Google Search Console is more than enough. Don't worry about it too much for now. Basically just have your site online, and it will take some time, maybe a month or so, to just start tracking data to actually see what state your website is in. So this is usually what happens when you're sort of dealing with a boss or dealing with a client or, your own website. It's a little bit, people want results now, but you haven't even added your site to a meaningful tool that gathers metrics for your search engine results. And this is a huge step to get that step out of the way and get these tools tracking data for your website. The next step, I would say, head over to ahrefs.com and log in to their dashboard, set up an account and verify a website with Ahrefs. These guys offer fantastic tools to manage the important SEO related functions of a website. So this is the nitty-gritty stuff. This is the intimidating stuff. This can get a little bit crazy, but we don't need to use everything here. We just sort of pick and choose the features of Ahrefs that make the most sense for us to help us with our particular SEO sort of strategy. A lot of the stuff that I use Ahrefs for is just for keyword research and keyword assistance to understand what I should be aiming for, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And then once you've added a site to the Ahrefs dashboard, this is what it will look like after it's gathered a bit of data and you've got some actual meaningful information coming through. Again, this can take a while. If you've just added it to the system, it can take some time for it to start picking up traffic. So again, you might just have to wait at this point and return in a couple of weeks just to give yourself that baseline to now know where to operate from, to understand what you're doing. But in the meantime, we can get started with the actual nitty-gritty of this guide. So what you want to do is log into your WordPress website. If you do not know how to log into your WordPress website, you're going to have to get in touch with your company's IT support team or web support team, wherever that may be. And if it's your own personal website, then you can do it via your ISP log in through some kind of cPanel or whatever facility they use for you to access the back end of your WordPress environment. From here, we're going to go off to our plugins directory. Again, I've mentioned this before. I'm going to be using Rank Math SEO. It's what I've been using most recently with clients to basically just manage the SEO of the website. This is essentially what SEO is, the practical management of SEO. It's just the formatting and structure of your content on your website is put together in such a way that Google really likes it, that Google can understand it, that Google can read it, and Google can therefore rank it. And that's all these plugins do. These are not magic buttons that are going to catapult you to rank 1 on the search results. These are literally tools to help you massage and finesse and establish a keyword strategy and apply it to your website in the most correct way possible. So don't get disheartened. This guide is not just about installing a plugin and hoping for the best. This is just one facet of what you need to do to get a healthy ranking for your website. And once you're set up with your preferred SEO plugin, there might be a little bit of a wizard or a little bit of a next situation to sort out. And once you're done and you look at the pages of your website, you will now see a form of score that is appearing on the right hand side here. You can see 3 of our pages have got absolutely no score. No keywords have been set. 2 of them are at fairly low scores of 67 and 60, and 1 is at 17. This is probably the situation that most people will find themselves in after they've been tasked to increase or fix or do the SEO of the website that you've been assigned to manage. So we're going to use Cheeses of Madagascar as an example here, and we'll see exactly how Rank Math SEO does this for us, right? So essentially what you're going to be doing is setting a focus keyword. Now, this is not necessarily a singular word. In fact, in most cases, a long tail keyword is probably going to net you the best results, right? So Madagascan cheese is a fairly unique thing. I'm going to leave it at that for now. And essentially what this is just a dynamic checklist. It's essentially just saying, your focus keyword does not appear in the SEO title, so therefore add it to the SEO title. The keyword is Madagascan cheese, so we will replace cheese from Madagascar as Madagascan cheese, and you will instantly see that that's been checked off. Now, this is probably the most time-consuming part, is to go and make sure that your focus keywords are appearing throughout the content correctly, right? And this is why I recommended WordPress as a massive time saver, or at least a much better way to go about doing this than if it was a static website. Because if you have a very large static website that isn't maintained by a CMS, you're going to have a hard time sort of maintaining all that information and data without some kind of platform such as WordPress to install plugins and to help you manage it, right? My recommendation is to go through this and get this as close to you get the score of your website according to Rank Math or whatever plugin you're using, as close to 100 out of 100 as possible. Don't beat yourself up if you can't get it to 100 out of 100. It's not really necessary. What this is doing is just helping you guide that the layout, the format, the structure, the way you've positioned your H2 tags, the way you've positioned your H1 tags, the way that the metadata is set up, the amount of keywords you're using, the literal character limit of your content, that everything is just matching up to a correct standard that search engines like to crawl through, that they're happy to actually digest and then rank your site. So it is literally that simple. But this is where a keyword strategy actually comes into play. So depending on your business, you might have a super high competitive industry where there aren't that many keywords that you can use. I mean, you've got to get seriously creative with the way that you're using your keywords, which is where tools like Ahref come into play, where you're able to analyze competitor keywords, see what other people are getting ranked high for, see what keywords have got incredibly difficult or highly competitive rankings, see what words have got low search results, see what words are getting high search results. These are all things that you need to take into consideration when trying to figure out your keywords, and it's up to you how deep you want to go through this. However, since we are not a multi-million-dollar advertising agency or marketing agency, our best friend is our AI overlord, ChatGPT. Using this in combination with the SEO plugin tools for WordPress is a great way to get results, actual, meaningful, measurable results that can and will hopefully translate into new business for you, your company, or the website that you're managing. Now, what you can do with ChatGPT is literally ask it to help you develop your own keyword strategy for your website. You can literally paste a website URL into ChatGPT, and it will help you come up with a checklist of things that you can do to help increase your SEO. That's maybe a little bit outside the scope of this video. The crux here is to basically use ChatGPT to bounce between the content of your website and get this checklist of words and metadata and tags and titles and all the stuff to basically get it as close to 100 out of 100 as possible. And then once that's done, then after a month or two, you will start to see the results in your Google Search Console. And from there, you're either going to have positive results or negligible results. If they're negligible, you've got to repeat this process. Go back to the drawing board, go back to Ahrefs, do some keyword research, figure out what you can tweak, apply it, and rinse and repeat until you start to see upticks in your Google Search Console. And that's basically it, guys. Doing this, I've legitimately helped clients get new business in from Google search results. People phone in and they say, they always ask, how did you find about our business? And they say, oh, well, I found you on Google. And that was not happening for many of my clients before using this method. So hopefully it can help you. It's not the most amazing thing in the world. This is just utilizing some smart ways and freely available tools. And you should treat them as such. Treat them as tools. There's no one-click magic button that's going to make your SEO compete against multi-million-dollar marketing agencies, essentially. And tell your boss that, right? Help them understand exactly what SEO is, because it's a highly snake oil-ridden industry that has got a terrible rep, that's got a lot of false information out there about what SEO actually is. And at the end of the day, nothing beats a solid website that is formatted correctly, that has got a creative or unique keyword strategy. And again, other things that you might be able to do to supplement your website's SEO capabilities is to just be active on social media. Don't spread yourself too thin. Focus on social medias that make sense for your business. Perhaps that's Facebook, perhaps that's Instagram, whatever it may be. Don't spread yourself too thin. And I hope this guide helped you. Hopefully a month from now, if you followed this guide, you'll start seeing some measurable results. And if you don't, keep at it. Keep chatting to ChatGPT. Keep on trying. Let me know in the comments below if you're winning or if you're losing. If you think the guide sucked, if you think the guide was great, let me know. I want to basically use this platform, use this channel to talk about design, the ups and downs, the many hats that I've had to wear over the years, and provide advice to like-minded individuals. So yeah, thank you very much. See you in the next one. Cheers.